Township Police say 14-year-old Claire Miller, who lives here with her family at this home on Clayton Road in Manheim Township, called police a little after 1 a.m. and said she had killed her sister.
Claire Miller was a 14-year-old girl on TikTok who would post daily who murdered her disabled sister Helen at 19 years old. On the night of February 21st of 2021, police got a very eerie call from a very calm Claire Miller. Claire Miller on the phone admitted to stabbing her sister in the neck multiple times until the point where she was dead. On February 22nd, Claire Miller was taken into custody by police and admitted to killing her sister. Claire Miller never showed remorse for the actions that she did on her sister. When the police came to the house to find Claire Miller covered in blood, she was outside wiping her blood off in the snow. When police and medics arrived at the scene, they immediately rushed into Helen's room, Claire's disabled sister, to see if they could treat her. Helen was alive for 3 hours after the stabbing happened. The multitude of stabbings that were located on her neck, she survived for 3 hours longer but was pronounced dead shortly after the stabbings happened. During the investigation and interrogation, shortly after the crime has been committed by Claire, she was talking to police and she was brought food. She was brought McDonald's, and the joke she made to a police officer by the name of John Miller, and I quote, "Claire says that she would have killed someone sooner if it meant getting McDonald's." But the question is, what drives someone to go about killing their own kin? According to her own parents, her parents stated that she was never malicious, nor did she ever have any type of malicious intent towards her sister. She was always the one to step up for her sister and always be caring for her. So what drove her to killing her own sister? Claire came from a loving home with a loving father and mother, along with her sister, whom she loved very much on the outside. Now, she grew up in a very decently wealthy family. She wasn't poor by any means whatsoever. Her father was a very hardworking man. She grew up in PA, United States of America. According to sources online, it says that Claire was bullied a lot in school and didn't really have any friends, so I'm assuming that could tie in somewhere with her. She also had a very strange and obscure addiction to homicide cases, obsessive kidnapping cases, and murder cases. While Claire sat and waited in her juvenile detention cell, she admitted she Michael Myers'd her sister, referring to the character from the horror movie Halloween. Claire went to a school in Manheim Township, PA, and when Claire was going to that school, she was practically labeled a social outcast by not only herself, but her friends, and, well, friends, I say with parentheses. And whenever she got home, the only real time that she could actually express her stuff was to her around roughly 2,000 to 5,000 TikTok followers every day. Claire had a very hard time growing up in schools and making friends, being labeled as different because she had a different type of style and sense of humor, I suppose. She also had a very twisted and sick, sadistic enjoyment in watching serial killer documentaries and other things along those lines. When Claire was interrogated by cops about her motive for killing her disabled sister Helen, she not only didn't really have an actual established answer that was justifiable, not that murder is justifiable at all, but if she could give an actual justifiable response as to any reason why she would actually murder her sister, she could not give one. The only thing that she could give them was either jokes, A, or B, simply saying that she had voices in her head telling her to do it. So where is Claire now, people ask? Well, a Lancaster County judge on Monday ruled that a teenage girl accused of fatally stabbing her older sister should be tried in adult court instead of the juvenile system, which would have to release her in less than 5 years. The juvenile system would only have authority over Claire Miller, who is now 16 until she is 21, and Judge David Workman said that's not enough time to ensure she is rehabilitated. Claire is charged with killing Helen Miller, 19 years old, who had cerebral palsy while Helen was asleep in her bed last year. Claire was in court Monday for Workman's announcement at 1:30 p.m. and cried intermittently throughout the proceedings she was in due to the fact that with adult proceedings would mean a much longer sentence instead of getting out and being rehabilitated in the juvenile system. Now, in my opinion, this is where the case just gets much sadder to me. Now, while Claire was done with her court case and getting ready to leave, Claire hugged her mother after the ruling. Before being let out of the courtroom, her parents had asked the judge to transfer her case to the juvenile system, saying they already lost one daughter and did not want to lose their second daughter as well. The judge responded with extensive mental health treatment as necessary, more than time beyond what the juvenile court jurisdiction permits. Workman also stated that it is necessary to treat her and to assure she is healthy and not a danger to herself or the community. Claire has around 4 years and 10 months until her 21st birthday, at which point juvenile court would no longer have the jurisdiction over her case. Ruling came a few days after the testimony in late June, with competing versions of a perfectionist girl who had been bullied and suffered a psychotic break, or someone obsessed with homicide who wouldn't engage a therapist and was coming up with attention-seeking excuses. Workman explained that this case is anything but standard, and the quantity of mental health conditions that must be ruled out to determine what treatment is appropriate will lengthen the process. Workman also mentioned it would be unclear what treatment Claire would get if another psychotic break were to occur and happen, before she would ever turn 21. It's extremely worrying to know that she had a psychotic break, and if she is let out before she turns 21 and is not put through the adult system, that another thing could happen like this, and she could go even further and kill a bunch more people to another psychotic break. Now my heart goes fully out to the parents here, because they're the ones truly suffering the most for this, due to the fact that they've not only lost one daughter, but now they're eventually going to most likely lose 2 daughters as well. All in all, this is really all that the case has to offer at the moment. There is nothing more we can do to find out about this case unless we just want to wait a little bit longer, and even if we wait a little bit longer, we still are not going to know until she's eventually 21 years old. So all in all, really, there is just nothing to do, but I'll just keep you guys updated. If there's any improvements or anything else that happens within this case, I'll make another part 2 on this video and let you all know. But thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and see ya.